What's up, family? So, Charlie Kirk, as known as a Republican, let alone a conservative, and has been highly known for his support for President Donald Trump. That's why they're calling him a MAGA star. Had a conversation I feel as though would be viable, and I want to have a conversation with you guys, family, when it comes to a direct link when it comes to men testosterone in politics. And let alone also, I'll get into a next clip when it comes to Mr. Gutfield, let alone Greg Gutfield is his name. He is a American television host, political commentator, comedian, and author. And on his late night show, he had a couple jokes to crack because this whole thing is surrounded around the Pete and Bobby challenge, which is Pete Hegseth and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who are basically setting up this challenge to promote, along with the Trump administration, which they are part of, to encourage Americans to become fitter and healthier. So the fitness challenge was a friendly competition between Hegseth, which is the representing Defense Secretary, and Kennedy, representing Health and Human Services Secretary. The objective was to complete 50 pull-ups and 100 push-ups in under 5 minutes. But we have Democrats mocking that, let alone which I will bring along, which is Zohran Mamdani, who we know is running to be the mayor of New York, believes that he's stronger than now, and they've been running with this campaign trying to mimic Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Pete Hegseth, basically trying to grasp the vote of young men, as we know that they're losing and have lost the Democratic Party, I should say, have lost the votes when it comes to young men. So with no further ado, let's check out what Charlie Kirk had to say.
I do think that there is a direct correlation between someone's testosterone and their politics. I would love to have a study done on this. On young men, the lower their testosterone, the more likely they are to be Democratic. Democrats are not going to be able to win over high testosterone men because they're too self-directed. So differently, the lower your testosterone is, the more, of course, the more likely you are going to be subservient and compliant. Our republic needs alpha men.
So, in Charlie Kirk's world, high T means manliness, rebellion, and maybe a MAGA hat. Low T, and you're apparently lining up for your 9th booster and asking the government to tuck you in.
I mean, it's interesting conversation. I'm just being objective and well grounded and having a well rounded approach to this. Um, because most votes, when it comes to the Democratic Party, women are automatically on their side. So it's interesting when you have men more on the Republican side, let alone being conservative. Because let's be real, whether you're a man or a woman, we have conservative values, whether we want to admit it or not. Especially when it comes to our money, we don't want to give our money and disperse it to others. We want to save our money and actually invest it or put it back into our family and take care of our loved ones. And if you think about it, the Republican Party is basically a party that deals with government not controlling your life, and you have a more of a path while having more resources like monies and more money in your pocket, more money in your paycheck to be able to pave the way to be self-sufficient and not rely on the government daddy, versus the Democratic Party that like to throw money at problems, which only raises the taxes, but then give you a little incentive, such as a stimulus or some type of benefit. They feel like they're helping you out and give you a helping hand when really they created a problem that they threw money at. Instead of doing it the right way, they figure, oh, they throw money at the problem by making it a bigger problem. For example, a lot of these blue states have mismanaged COVID monies that they were giving to help them stay afloat while taking care of the budget that they already had in place before COVID. So really, the monies was just to help as a savings just in case they needed it, but they splurged on the monies. And then when it came to no more COVID relief funding monies being given, when it came back to them managing the regular money that the federal government gave them, they basically already been in debt because now they added more things that they can handle with the money that they usually budget with. So I give you a simple standard. Let's say my friend give me $300, but I know I usually only get paid $100. This is just an example, hypothetically. So let's say now that I got the $300, I start buying designer clothes and I start buying things that I know that I can't sustain over time. So when I don't get the $300 no more, let's say I get a Disney Plus subscription, I get an NFL subscription. When I only usually get $100, that's my regular budget, right? And now that I don't get the $300 no more, which was to be a savings to hold me afloat for whatever I've been managing before I added all these extra things like these subscription services. Now I'm in debt because now I'm getting constantly charged for these subscriptions that is basically making my account could possibly go negative that my $100 can't cover, let alone I got other responsibilities like putting gas in my car and things that I've been managing with that $100. Now, and I know that's like, yo, $100 you can't live off of. I'm just using an example. But let's see what Greg Gutfeld had to say in regards of his commentary.
Speaking of Eric, you remember that workout video we showed you the other night, the one that looked about as high impact as hydrotherapy at a nursing home? But because we ragged the video, the poor sap, aka Fat Dexter, has challenged me to a bench press contest. And the loser, he says, has to quit their job. Yes, Swalwell, the only man to ever be outlifted in the Capitol gym by the groundhog on Maxine Waters' head, says he wants to meet me in the weight room. Now, perhaps it's all a plan to get me in the gym sauna by himself. But Swalwell also claimed that he had never heard of me. Right. Nice try,
I never
Eric.
heard of
Everyone
Gutfeld.
knows me.
Not me.
I'm so famous you can't go to a Cambodian prison without hearing my name.
I just heard about him.
Well, that brings back memories. But that's why I never leave the house. So, Eric, if you really want anyone to take you seriously, you might try truth instead of being so damn thirsty. It's why you got honeypotted by a Chinese spy. She looked at you and thought, a socially inept dork who hasn't got his weenie wet since a field trip to the water slide in 7th grade. I got this one. I mean, what else could she see in a guy who looks like he buys boner pills from the New Zealand dark web? Maybe it's because you once rode a camel? Shirtless? Wow, I'm looking at that picture and wondering which hairy beast retains more water.
Sheesh.
Oh, thank you. Little camel humor. And who can forget when he ran for president and electrified an audience of none?
Dang.
I will be that president because I have lived that struggle and I know how hard you work and what you expect it to add up to. But I will always be real with you. I will be bold without the bold.
What the world? Yo.
Well, that went over about as well as a kissing booth at a funeral. Amazing.
I never heard of neither of these guys, but man, it's getting personal between these two. However, we'll get to him in a minute because he actually did the challenge, Eric Swalwell. But picture this. This is what I wanted to get to, right? Picture this. A man, Zohran Mamdani, claims he has the strength to remake the most powerful city on earth. He wants to carry the immense weight of New York City on his shoulders. So what does it mean if that same man can't even lift 135 pounds? And what you're about to explore isn't just an embarrassing gym fail at a Men's Day event in Brooklyn. It's a moment of political truth. And there's a direct correlation between someone's testosterone and their politics. And low testosterone men tend to be subservient and compliant, which is why they're drawn to the Democratic Party. And high testosterone mean men are too self-directed. Is a simple miscalculation at the gym a harmless gaffe? Or does it reveal the deep weakness at the core of political ideology? So it was a sunny day in Brooklyn at a local Men's Day event all about the community and health. And into this scene walks Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani, a front runner in the New York City mayor race, riding a wave of progressive momentum. His campaign is built on huge promises and a vision of radical change. And he sees a chance to connect with voters, to look strong, and to seem like a man of the people. And there it is, a flat bench, a barbell, and a crowd. And the weight is set to 135 pounds. And for those who don't go to the gym, that's a standard bar with a 45-pound plate on each side. It's a respectable weight, but for a public figure trying to project power, it's a basic benchmark, right? I bench more than this in high school. but it's often a warm-up weight, not the weight you fail on. But Mudami, a 33-year-old, decides this is his moment. This is where he'll show the city his strength. Surrounded by cameras and voters, he lies back, grips the bar, and gets ready to show everyone his power. And what happened next wasn't just uh, a political gaffy. It was a complete and deeply symbolic disaster. So let's break down the moment because Mudami positions himself on the bench and he doesn't look confident. He looks like someone who knows he has made a big mistake. A muscular, experienced lifter from the crowd stands over him, ready to spot him so the weight don't fall on him. And then weightlifting, the spotter is there for safety to help you if you struggle. A spotter is not there to lift the entire weight for you. So he takes a breath, lowers the 135-pound bar to his chest, which we'll get to the clip in a minute. And the easy part is done. Not for the test. He pushes and nothing. The bar barely moves. And the strain is visible on his face. His arms tremble. The bar loaded with what's basically a beginner's weight has him pinned. So instantly the spotter hands are on the bar. But this isn't a general assist. It's a rescue mission because the spotter has to haul the full weight of Modani's chest while his arms just follow along. He didn't get help. He got bailed out. And the crowd watches with a mix of stunned silence and a few chuckles, and one rep done entirely by another man's strength. Incredibly, then they try for a second. The bar comes down, and once again, it's stuck. And once again, the spotter does all the work. 2 reps are counted. But as anyone with eyes can see, the truth is that Mudani did 0 reps. Because if you can't handle the weight without a spotter, you didn't actually do the reps. He fell spectacularly on camera right in the middle of a mayoral race. So the article reads, Zohran Mamdani fails at bench press while trying to show off at Men's Day in Brooklyn as Cuomo, Adams' roast rival. So this is the spotter right here, and this is Mamdani on the bench. Now let's go to the clip, and I want you guys to check it out.
Move up in the poll! Yeah!
So they hyping him up. Yeah.
This is how you move up in the polls! Yeah!
I'm on top of the world. This is how you move up on the polls. Look at the spotter. Spotter holding on for him for dear life. Before he even touched the ball.
Yeah! Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go! Yeah!
Didn't even touch the chest.
Let me get one
Look.
more, let me get 3! Let me get 3! Let me get 3!
You got 2, and we got 2 incomplete reps, right? So this is who the comedian was talking about. Eric Swalwell posted his campaign video of himself benching 135 pounds. Middle schoolers do that according to this post, and then he challenged Greg Gutfield, who we seen at the beginning, who was basically roasting him. And look, man, I want you guys to check this out.
I should be working right now. I should be at the Capitol. I should be in a suit. Instead, Republicans sent us home because they would rather stand up for Donald Trump than release the Epstein files and stand up for victims. We could be at Washington, D.C., lowering your healthcare costs, lowering your grocery costs, and restoring your rights. I should be working right now. Instead, I'm pumping iron at the gym.
Well, there you have it, folks. So all these Democrats are doing are trying to mimic Pete and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. This is the original campaign. This is what Trump is doing, and this is phenomenal, right? Health and fitness.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Hi, I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., your HHS Secretary. I'm here with Secretary Hegseth from the Department of Defense. And we had our big Pete and Bobby challenge today. 50 pull-ups, 100 push-ups. You try to get under 5 minutes. How'd you do?
We got close. I was
We
about
got
5:25. You were right behind me.
We had a couple of Marines here.
One beat 3 minutes, a couple beat 4 minutes. Pretty impressive.
It was President Trump who inspired us to do this. This is the beginning of our tour, challenging Americans to get back in shape, eat better, but also you need to get out and exercise. And we have a challenge. There's another cabinet member who we hope would show up today. We told them there was a cabinet meeting here. But anyway, we want to send out a challenge to Sean Duffy to come and do this.
So, Secretary Duffy, you're invited to do the Pete and Bobby challenge. Can you do it in under 5 minutes? 50 pull-ups, 100 push-ups. What do you think?
If you can beat 6 minutes, you can be part of this.
And yes, thank you, President Trump, for setting the example. Presidential physical fitness, make America healthy again. Fit, not fat. We're going to have a war-fighting force with young men and women who are prepared to defend the nation. We're doing it as a team. Join us.
Gotta love it, man. You gotta love it. So, when you see this, a moment like that doesn't just disappear. It becomes a meme, a symbol, and for any political opponent, it was a gift because the video went viral in hours and the attacks were swift and merciless. And Clay Travis was right to the point. The right to point out that a 33-year-old needing a spotter for 2 reps of 135 is next level embarrassing. And this just wasn't about physical fitness anymore. It became about political competence. And his rivals had a field day. Political opponents built on being tough saw the perfect opening. They took to social media with simple cutting jabs, framing the narrative that he's all talk, no action, and he can propose lifting billions from taxpayers, but can't lift a simple barbell. So this whole situation is laughable. Madani makes Eric Swalwell, who we seen, look like Hulk Hogan. Online commentators called him a fraud and a man whose physical weakness is a perfect mirror for flimsy, unrealistic political ideas. When it comes to Zohran Mamdani, and the fail wasn't just personal humiliation, it was weaponized into a political kill shot, a visual shorthand for incompetence. So look, does the ability to bench press 135 pounds have any real bearing on managing the city? On the surface, no. His defenders said exactly that, arguing that critics are focused on shallow theatrics. And they'll be right because they are absolutely completely missing the point here. It's not about theatrics or public theater. This isn't about the weight. This is about the metaphor. The 135-pound bench press is a poetic symbol for the kind of ideology that Zohran Mamdani represents. One that appeals to weak, low testosterone men that we mentioned before, but also the symbol when it comes to Zohran Mamdani. When you think about the weight itself, 135 pounds is a baseline, a standard of functional strength. So in politics, this is the weight of reality. It's understanding you can't just promise everything for free without consequences. Just like Mudami on the bench, these policies can't lift the basic weight of reality, sir. So second, and this is the most critical part, it's the role of the spotter. Mudami Mudani was completely unable to lift the weight on his own, and he was saved by someone else doing all the work. And this is a perfect metaphor for the kind of state socialists want to build. Their vision is of a massive government that swoops in to spot everyone. Can't afford rent, the government will spot you. Can't find a job, the government will spot you. The spotter is the state, the taxpayer, the productive part of the economy forced to carry the weight for policies and people that cannot support themselves. Mudani, lying helpless on that bench, became the individual in his own ideal system, weak, independent, and relying on a powerful external force to do the heavy lifting. His system doesn't build strength, it requires a permanent spotter. But what do you think? Am I reading too much into a gym fail, or is this genuinely a revealing metaphor? Is physical image a fair thing to judge a political leader on, or should we only rely on policy and focus on that? If bench pressing your own weight was a requirement to vote, Republicans would beat Democrats 95-5. But let me know your take in the comments below, because the blunder doesn't exist in a vacuum. It fits into a broader pattern of weakness. Democrats know they have a masculinity problem. That's why they're desperately trying to appeal to young men with cringe videos that just highlight how weak they are. So we've seen it with Eric Swalwell's gym stunt, benching the same pathetic 135 pounds. We've seen it in their desperate attempts to copy the masculine feats of conservatives, like the pull-up challenges from Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Pete Hegseth, but the results just show how unimpressive they are. The difference between a socialist or a liberal man and a MAGA man couldn't be more clear. You don't see liberal men demonstrating this kind of strength. It's an economic model based on taking, not creating. That isn't strength. It's institutionalized envy. Even the women on the left don't stack up to conservative women when it comes to attractiveness or strength of character. And this isn't strength, it's weakness. So Democrats are trying really hard to win back young men, but Mudani struggling with 135 pounds isn't going to help. So in the end, the image of Zohran Mamdani pinned and helpless under 135 pounds is a powerful one because it sticks around. It sticks around because it feels like more than just a political mistake. It feels like a moment of accidental, brutal honesty. And in that one moment, the entire facade of his political project came crashing down. He tried to project strength, but revealed weakness. And he tried to connect with the common person, but showed he was out of his depth. And he tried to perform a simple task, but had to be bailed out by someone else. And it's the perfect encapsulation of a political vision. A system that talks big but collapses under the lightest weight of reality, requiring a productive few to constantly bail out the dependent many. And the viral mockery was a recognition of this fundamental truth. People saw an emperor with no clothes, or in this case, a mayor with no muscle. Leadership requires moral, intellectual, and physical strength to face reality as it is. Weak, low testosterone men are drawn to socialism, and that's the only group these stunts resonate with. And the great irony is that in trying to look strong, Mudani gave voters the single most powerful argument against his own campaign. The question for voters is, if a man can't handle 135 pounds, how on earth can he handle the crushing immense weight of an entire city? Let me know in the comments below. On that note, family, peace.